Have you ever stared at the person you love and realized you don't know them at all? That's what I was doing, standing in the cold Chicago air watching my wife, Sarah, went through the window of a 24-hour gym on Clark Street at 1 in the morning. She wasn't on the treadmill, though. She was laughing, her head thrown back, as a man I'd never seen before wrapped his arms around her waist. Her gym bag was on the floor, untouched. And in that moment, seeing the sheer joy on her face, a joy I hadn't seen in years, I knew my marriage was over. I just didn't know what I was going to do about it yet. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from, what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. It started subtly about 6 months ago. Sarah, who once complained about walking to the mailbox, suddenly became obsessed with fitness. New year, new me, she'd chirped, packing a brand new gym bag. At first, I was supportive. I made her protein shakes. I told her how great she looked, but her gym sessions got later and later. First 9 p.m., then 10, then past midnight. When I asked why so late, she'd snap. "It's the only time it's not crowded, Mark. Don't you want me to be healthy?" Her defensiveness was the first red flag. Then came the little lies. She'd come home smelling not of sweat, but of expensive cologne. Her phone, once left casually on the counter, was now glued to her hand or tucked under her pillow. One night, I woke up to the soft glow of her screen. She was smiling at a text message. She saw I was awake. She jumped, her face turning to stone. "It's just my sister," she'd mumbled, quickly turning the phone over. "My sister-in-law lives in a different time zone and is always asleep by 9. The man from the gym, I learned his name was Julian. A personal trainer with biceps bigger than my head and a smug grin that made my blood boil. I found his profile linked on the gym's website. I didn't confront her. What was the point? The trust was already shattered into a million pieces. Instead, a cold, hard resolve started to form in my gut. She thought I was a fool. She thought I was weak. She was about to find out how wrong she was. I started gathering evidence like a detective on a mission. I installed a small, undetectable keylogger on our shared home computer. The chat logs were sickening. They detailed their meets, mocked my work schedule, and laughed about how oblivious I was. She called me her safe, boring paycheck. He called her his midnight cardio. Every word was a fresh stab in the back. But I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I just saved everything. Screenshots, chat logs, everything. I bought a voice-activated recorder and slipped it under the passenger seat of her car. The recordings captured their hushed whispers, their laughter, their plans for a future that didn't include me. The final piece of my plan was our finances. We had a joint savings account, one we'd been building for a decade to buy our dream house by Lincoln Park. With my evidence in hand, I visited a lawyer, a shark. He told me exactly what I needed to do. We drafted the divorce papers, attaching every single piece of incriminating evidence. The voice recordings, the chat logs, even a few discreetly taken photos of them leaving a hotel near the magnificent Mile together. The day I chose for the final act was our anniversary. She had forgotten, of course. She came home late, humming a tune, and casually mentioned she was going out with the girls. I just smiled. "Have fun," I said. While she was in the shower, I logged into our joint bank account. Per my lawyer's advice, I transferred exactly 50% of our savings, my half into a new account under my name only. Then I paid off the remaining balance on her car, the car I had co-signed for. I called the bank and had my name removed from the title. It was now solely hers, and so was the debt. I did the same with her mountain of credit card bills. When she came out of the bedroom, dressed to impress for her lover, I was sitting at the dining room table. In front of me were 2 stacks of paper. "What's all this?" she asked, annoyed. I slid one stack over to her, and it was a printout of her chats with Julian. Her face went from confusion to sheer panic. Her jaw dropped. Her skin turned ghostly white. "Mark, I can explain. No need," I said, my voice calm, almost detached. "I think these explain everything." I pushed the second stack toward her. "The divorce papers. I've already moved my half of our savings," I continued, my voice flat. "And all that debt you've racked up on your shopping sprees? It's all yours now. Happy anniversary, Sarah." She collapsed into a chair, sobbing, begging, pleading, but I felt nothing. The man who loved her had died weeks ago, standing outside that gym in the cold. I stood up, picked up my pre-packed bag from the hallway, and walked to the door without looking back. As I opened it, I paused. "By the way," I said, turning to look at her one last time, her face a mess of tears and mascara. "I sent a copy of all this to Julian's wife. I guess you're not his midnight cardio anymore." I walked out, closing the door softly behind me, leaving her alone in the wreckage of the life she had so carelessly destroyed. The city lights felt brighter that night, clearer. It wasn't a happy ending. It was just an ending. The silence in my new, empty apartment was deafening, but it was the sound of my own future. She had taken my heart and stomped on it, but I had taken everything else. Some fires aren't meant to be put out. They're meant to burn everything down, so you can build something new from the ashes. The end.